Welcome to another episode of Who's Your Nerds podcast with your hosts Mikey and the two Chris's. Tim never answered our text. I'm guessing he's still asleep. He does work third shift though, so I can't really complain, I guess, too much. But, so, yeah. Moving on. On our last podcast, Chris with a K talked about the movie he watched, Clownado, and we got some feedback on it from one of the actors.
Yes, we did. His name is John O'Hara, who played the main bad guy in the movie, right? So we were sitting, me and Chris worked together, and we were sitting in a meeting, and I was like, yeah, we got a like from some guy. And then we looked, and there was
IMDb.
Yeah, we got a feedback, and it had an IMDb link, and he says, click on the link, and I was like, holy crap, it's the actor from the movie, the bad guy. So he reported, he's John O'Hara's at DIY News now, is his Twitter feed. He said, you all should focus more, which is true because we are completely all over the place in our podcast. But he said, you should all focus more, get a little more Joe Rogan-like. You have some very smart people here. Dial it in. Anyway, thanks for taking the time to review a movie I was in. And then I went back and listened to our podcast, and I shit on the movie, and now I feel bad. Because I talked about how horrible the movie was and how horrible the acting was. But I should report. Not everybody's acting in the movie was horrible. But I did say I liked it. And I would watch it again, definitely. Because I love bad movies, let's put it that way. But that's the first real feedback we've gotten from somebody. And I think it's important to say, for a lot of people who, all the 20 people that listen to us is maybe you're better off watching the smaller production movies. You get more feedback than those. I mean, we can talk about Avengers and Star Wars all day long, but we're never going to get feedback from Robert Downey Jr. or Mark Hamill. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're nothing compared to the podcast, radio shows, and TV shows.
Right. We're just four guys most of the time that just want to get together and talk about the stuff we love or don't like, but we are going to take his advice. We're going to try and focus more, do a better podcast, make it a little cleaner, but I thought that was fun. I thought that was kind of neat. We got some and it's positive feedback.
I mean, we'll take any feedback as long as it's,
he obviously listened to the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So that's encouraging that we got some feedback from just a little production movie called Clownado.
Like you say a lot. You never know who's listening.
Yeah.
And honestly, I really like watching. I don't want to say bad. I like watching the low budget movies, the crappy movies, because they're fun to watch. You don't go in, they're not going to be some blockbuster movie.
Right.
Like the Sedaris films.
Yes.
I really like watching those, and honestly, looking at some of our analytics, we get some of our best viewage and listenage off of those movies.
So you mean there's more than the 10 followers on YouTube that listen to our podcast?
Yeah,
Can you believe that? More than 10.
I know. I haven't looked at the analytics on the numbers that well on the RSS feed, on the Spotify and all that stuff.
Right.
But I know that our numbers are always going up. Like every podcast we have more views than the last one, or more listens.
I mean, we wanted to take baby steps anyway. We're not going to be a blog. We don't expect to be,
Joe Rogan
or Barstool. Barstool started out small too. So
yeah.
So that was encouraging. We got some great feedback from, from DIY News. His name was, what was it, Dan? What is his name?
I don't remember his name. I'm horrible with names though.
You're horrible with names?
Yeah. Took me almost a week to remember everybody in the office's name.
This is where we don't. This is where we need to focus more. This is exactly what he's saying.
Yeah. We need to have we need to start having notes in front of us.
I think so.
Stuff,
yes, his name is John O'Hara. He played Big Ronnie, who was the evil clown.
Okay, he was the evil clown.
He was the evil clown. Yeah, he was the bad guy. He was the evil clown. He's the one that kills his wife's boyfriend and turns into an evil clown and gets sucked up into the Clownado and he goes around and just kills people.
Where did you watch this movie?
I watched it at Shelley's. I should thank Josie, her daughter. Josie's the one that did our new banner.
Uh-huh.
She was the one that suggested us to watch Clownado.
Okay.
So actually I need to give Josie some props for making me watch this.
She just needs to be a producer on the show.
Maybe
At this
should
point.
just keep her, in the loop here, because she's got some good ideas. It's probably all gonna go to her head now.
Yeah.
But
it's gonna be Josie and the
Josie and the Josie and the Hoosier Nerds. But yeah, she recommended the movie because it was funny, like she said, and it is. And thank you, John O'Hara, for listening to our episode, and thank you very much for the advice, because we were definitely do our best to make our podcast better. Thank you for that. I mean, that's great. We got outside.
Thank you to everyone who, I know we don't get a lot of comments or stuff or anything on Twitter, but I do get, people do talk to me in person. I don't know about you guys, but some people have said you guys are good, we gotta focus more. Or, do give us advice. We always listen to it, one way or the other.
Yes, we are going to take his advice. We're going to do a focus more and do a better job. Like you said, dial it in. And we do, because he did say, we are a bit all over the place.
Yeah, like last week we were all over the place, but, some weeks we're dialed in and we know what we want to talk about.
But like G.I. Joe taught us in the 1980s, knowing is half the battle. So.
And from that, me and Mikey saw 2 movies over the weekend. I saw one, he saw another one. He went to go see Quiet Place 2, and I went and saw Cruella. Cruella. Oh my god. That's gonna be fun to talk about. Do you want to take a?
Don't give anything away. I have not seen it yet.
I want to
No
see it today.
spoilers. This is a no spoiler review.
Okay, I'll attempt. Everyone dies. No. Close to, but anyway. I thought it's not as good as the first one, but it's still really good. I still really enjoyed it. It still had the same feel. It's still suspenseful. I mean, I was holding my breath at a lot of the moments just because it's like, oh, what's going to happen? And in my head, I'm yelling at some of the characters like, you should have stayed there. Like, why'd you move? Be quiet. Don't you know? It's like, and then you get to see a lot of more of the monsters. They still don't have a name for them, which we can create a name if we want. I don't know. I don't know.
The flower heads.
Yeah, okay. Sure, I mean, I guess they do. They have like petal-like heads. I was trying to explain it to Kim what the monsters were like because she'd never seen Quiet Place, and she was making fun of me because I couldn't describe it, but I guess that works.
Yeah.
Flower heads. So these you get to see a lot more of the flower heads with
heads.
blades on their arms and stuff, and they're ripping people up and stuff, and you get to see. I guess in the trailer you get to see like day one of when like these flower heads were kind of wreaking havoc and people were just everywhere and frantic. But so that was cool to see the background of that and see kind of like their origin. And the kids did great acting too, and it was good because speaking of, they kind of like had 2 different storylines within the same movie. So it's like it kind of split it up, and you were able to still follow it pretty well, and you kind of root for one person to help the other one, and that was really cool. I did really enjoy it. I do prefer anyone to go watch it whenever they have time. And the theater, I went to Cruella. I watched the last 15 minutes of Cruella because my movie ended before theirs, and we kind of went at the same time. And it looked like both theaters were pretty well full.
What was your attendance in the movie?
I don't know what it was. They actually opened up all the seats.
Yeah.
Too.
Was it packed though?
It had a good amount. I mean,
amount
there's
of
only 3 shows per night, so it's like it kind of crammed it all within one night. But.
Right.
For Cruella, I would say the top section was pretty much full. And then the bottom section was probably about a fourth or a half full.
Did you sit in the handicap section, Chris?
Yes, I did sit in the handicap section.
It was easy to spot them when I walked in, even though it was kind of dark. But I was like, hey.
I see those crutches.
Yeah.
As the first time I ever sat in the handicap section, and I don't like it. I want to sit up in the higher section. So I got a couple questions, Mikey, for you. I wasn't asked how busy was it, but we already kind of answered that. So did you see the first one in theaters?
Yeah, I did. I definitely did.
So was this one kind of like that, where you could hear a pin drop?
Yeah, just about. I mean, I thought I was making a lot of noise because I was like, oh fuck. But yeah.
I remember when I went to see the first one, I had popcorn and a drink. I didn't eat or drink it because it made too much noise.
It's almost like Paranormal Activity, where like when those nighttime scenes happen, and
Right.
and then once it ends, everyone starts talking. But I think I didn't really pay attention much. Like it seemed like everyone was really kind of involved in watching it and trying to pay attention, and it seemed like everyone had a good time. I mean, no one was making distractions or anything, so.
That's good. No one had their phones out like in mine.
Yeah.
There was a lot of kids in my theater, so there were some phones out, and I was getting kind of mad at someone in front of me.
So is Cruella worth the $30 it'll cost on Disney Premiere to watch it? I mean, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just asking.
Are you? Yes, if you're gonna watch it with like 3 or 4 other people, but I'd still, if it's just you gonna watch it on Disney, I wouldn't.
Right.
But you got your family, you might as well. Do they explain the monsters anymore? Like
as their origin?
Any
or
origin about
where
them?
they came from, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
A little bit. I mean, they show kind of like they show something. I'm trying not to like spoil it.
They show something.
Yeah, they show something, but they don't really say anything. They just
Okay.
show it.
So
And
I
then
remember-
like you kind of just okay.
I remember in the last one, I went back and watched it because I saw some YouTube videos on it, and like you gotta look at the papers, the news clippings in the background.
Yeah.
It's like they show some like what's been happening and stuff, so explain the world a bit more. I don't like that. I wanted to see like where they came from and stuff.
Yeah.
But they explain a little bit more. That's cool. My last question. I remember a year ago when or 2 years ago when the trailers first started coming out for this movie because it was pushed back because of COVID. It looked like it was going to be. I was really worried it was going to turn more into The Walking Dead. How the monsters aren't really scary anymore, and it's more like the humans are scary.
They kind of did bring that aspect into it, just like for one scene, I guess. But it was great how because the scene kind of involves Cillian Murphy from he was in Inception, he was in Dark Knight as Scarecrow, and Peaky Blinders, Thomas Shelby.
Yeah.
So he played a big role in this film, and he trying to help Emily Blunt's character and her family, he's like, you can't stay here, and you shouldn't like go looking for help because there's nothing out there. And he brings up like these people, they've changed.
Cillian Murphy.
Yeah.
That's the guy that was Scarecrow.
And I guess so I loved him in this. I like him as a character. I love Peaky Blinders. He did a fantastic job. And speaking of the monsters, it kind of reveals like one of their weaknesses. I know in the first one with the frequency like that with the hearing aid.
Yeah.
They kind of showed that in the first one, that kind of weakness. But there's another weakness that they reveal. It's like it's so obvious. Like I can't believe I never noticed, and it was so funny. I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like, but yeah, it's really good how they kind of they reveal like there's hope.
Okay.
There's hope for the future and for the baby that she just had in the first one.
I kind of forgot about the baby.
Yeah, it's really good. It's kind of like edge of your seat type stuff.
Okay.
Just like the first one was. So I really loved it. I'd go watch it again.
I really want to go with Kimberly to go see the movie, but I know she's not really into scary.
She definitely has to watch the first one though. You have to watch the first one.
That's definitely.
This. I don't want to say the first one. I don't want to say the movie was scary per se. It's just suspenseful.
Yeah, there was a couple jump scares, but
That's good.
Yeah.
Jump scares are what get you all the time, mostly, anyways.
Like after it happens, you're like, "Oh God, okay, it happened." Whew, all right, that's it.
You have any more to say about it, or
Go watch it.
go watch it?
Go
Did
watch
you buy a drink or any popcorn?
I did buy a drink, but I did, like always, sneak some candy in.
Okay. Me and Kimberly got 2 large drinks and a large popcorn, so we helped the theater out a little bit there.
They did seem like they had a good special, the F9, the Fast and Furious 9
Did you get a
movie
fast...
deal. No, I didn't.
I got a fast.
Yeah, you get 2 drinks, 2 regular drinks, a popcorn, and
Maybe a Hot Wheels car
what else do you get?
with
No,
wings on it, and
I
A
think
laser?
I thought you get something else for $25 or something. It seemed like I have to look up exactly what it is, but it seemed like a good deal.
Can't wait.
Just
for
like
that
Fast
movie.
9's going to be an awesome movie.
Did you see my? I sent that picture to you in our group there, Mikey, about Fast 9 and what it's going to turn into.
Oh. I forgot about that. So, Cruella, so right now, before I'm even talking about the movie any, Cruella is a Disney Joker movie. It's the origin movie of
What?
a villain.
Are you kidding?
No, that's the reason I watched Joker this weekend with Kimberly, was because it made me
Prove
think
to
of,
her that they ripped off the Joker.
yeah, basically. But it starts off in the beginning to her turning it into Cruella DeVille. I don't really know what I'm trying. I don't want to spoil anything. It's hard talking about a movie and not spoiling anything. If you guys have questions, let me know at the same time.
Does it suck?
No, it's really good. The soundtrack
most
is
important
amazing.
question.
The movie's really good. I suggest it. If you need if you're looking for a movie if you don't want to watch Quiet Place 2 for whatever reason, and you want to go see something fun, take it on a date somewhere, watch Cruella. It's amazing. 101 Dalmatians was one of my favorite Disney movies when I was younger, and it really explains her origins. It had a lot of twists I didn't see coming. I think we talked about that with you.
Yeah, I already asked a bunch of questions.
Yeah, I can't remember what you asked. Though.
Why does she hate Dalmatians? Or yeah,
it kind of explains that she doesn't hate them.
Yeah.
She just thinks they look really. She likes how they look. That's all it is, really.
she likes how they look. Like she likes the spots.
Yeah, she likes the spots.
I like
okay.
Rabbits. I don't hate rabbits, but rabbit fur's really soft, and I could
Yeah.
see why you would want a rabbit fur, coat.
But it's kind of like Joker. It does show mental. It's not as hard to watch as Joker with mental illness and stuff.
So it's Joker light.
It's Joker light. She has there's Estelle and Cruella, and she has multiple personality disorder basically. And when her mom died, I'm putting that in quotation marks.
Yeah, because they can't see that.
Yeah. Dies. She kind of kills off Cruella and becomes Estelle. But she gets a job, and Cruella starts coming out again. And basically she starts turning evil and, doing stuff to get power and become famous. She basically wants to become a famous fashion designer. I think that's kind of shown in the original movies, but that's her becoming a famous fashion designer. Speaking of, there were a lot of kids in that movie theater.
Well, yeah.
That movie was too dark for those kids.
Really?
I don't think the kids would understand what was happening. It had some adult themes in it. But it was a fun movie. I would definitely suggest watching it. It's not worth the $30 on Amazon, or not Amazon, on Disney Plus,
Right.
unless you have 4 or 5 people that are gonna sit there and watch it with you, or a family. You got a family that wants to watch it, but
Right.
Go to the theaters. We need theaters to survive.
In fact, our theater here in Kokomo will be open every day beginning June 24th.
You can speak up a little bit.
Our theater here in Kokomo will be opening all week long starting June 24th.
Okay.
About time. I want to go back.
3 weeks too late, though, I think.
Yeah.
I want to go back to this multiple personality thing because it confused me. I was talking to you about it after you watched it because I thought it was like a bipolar type thing, but I guess it's not. I guess they're two separate things.
Bipolar is you're happy 1 minute, then like a second later you're mad or depressed or something.
Yeah.
Your mood switches like that. That's how I understand bipolar. Multiple personality disorder is more like, hey, you got Mikey, you got Chris, and you got Tim living in your head, and they're all different personalities.
Oh, so it's like the Split.
Yeah,
like
Split,
the guy from Split, and then
Yes.
and then like, so does the Cruella character or personality come out to like protect Estelle? I guess.
No. She comes out because there's a trigger, basically.
Oh, okay.
She's a bitch.
Something. I don't want to say she comes out to protect Estelle, but she comes out because she sees something, and it's time to get revenge. Let's put it that way. She's like, okay, now's my time for revenge after all these years. And then she just dominates after that. So
it's kind of like when you get married, and the woman you marry is this wonderful, sweet woman, and then you get married, and she turns into something completely different.
Yes.
Same thing.
Well, I've never been married, but yes, I'm guessing. To my knowledge, maybe. One thing I do want to talk about in this movie, and I know we've talked about it before and try not to talk about too much, but some things we complain about, is the whole... I felt like this movie did the whole, like, forcing... They didn't force, PC stuff on you as much as, like, some movies in the past did. They did change, some characters from the original to being, a race that they weren't in the original movies, or a sexuality they might not have been.
Right.
The one thing I did not like about this movie was they kind of were like, hey, if you work in the fashion industry as a man, you have to be gay. Because it was like every guy in that movie was gay. And it's like, you don't have to be gay to work in the fashion industry as a man. Come on now.
You don't have to, but
So you're saying
it's
it's almost like a stereotype.
Yeah.
It's like a reverse stereotype.
Yeah. And they were really putting it off like it was. I know they didn't really say all of them were, but they were some very overtly gay characters that just felt forced.
Right. I understand what you're saying.
But you know how Disney and Netflix do. It didn't feel like it was forced, like everything else was forced on you.
Well, I'll never see this movie, so I'll just take your word for it. That was good.
You might watch it eventually.
I doubt it.
If Shelley wanted to watch it, would you watch it?
If she wanted to watch it, but she ain't seen Star Wars. We still got like 5 more movies, 6, 7 more movies to watch of that. So
Did you start watching Star Wars?
yeah, we watched the first 2. Well, sorry, we watched 4 and 5. So yeah, we watched the first 2.
Okay.
So
okay, I got a question for you guys. I know we're going to Star Wars all of a sudden, but I do want to know. If you got to show someone Star Wars, I know what you're going to say. If you're going to show someone Star Wars for the first time, how would you show them?
I'd pop in the movie.
What?
I'd show them for a movie. You said, how would you show them?
I'd
show them a movie.
what order?
What order? What order would you show them?
Sorry, I'm being specific.
I would show them the movie.
Yeah.
I would show them. While I do think 1, 2, and 3. Like if I'm gonna watch it now in order, I'm gonna watch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm gonna watch it in that order. But if I'm gonna show someone who's never seen Star Wars before, I'm gonna start on episode 4. Go 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, okay, I get that, but I would show them one first.
No,
because it would confuse.
if you show people
it
one,
would confuse
they
them.
will never want to watch the rest of this show movies because it sucks.
No,
so
it would
bad.
confuse them. You think of it if you never watched. If you watched,
I wasn't confused.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I get it, because but if you're showing just the ordinary person that's never seen Star Wars and you start at 4, like, why the heck are we starting in the middle of the freaking story? And then they're like, oh, why do you go back to 1?
Because that's the
like,
rules. It's like the rules of Fight Club.
Look,
you don't talk about Fight Club.
I figured it will confuse the fuck out of them.
No.
The thing, you show him 4, 5, 6 first, because then Anakin turning into Darth Vader does not hit you as hard if you go 1, 2, 3, 4.
I guarantee if you show them 1, 2, 3 first, they will not want to watch 3 because they're going to be bored to death with the first 2.
No. I think they'll be confused because of the graphic change or whatnot. Because it gets. I know it gets a little bit
you gotta
poor.
Go 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3.
It gets a little poor.
Yeah. But I like the idea, like the suspense of like Vader, like you don't like what you said, like you don't get the hard hitting like reveal that Anakin is Vader. I get that. That's fine with me, but I feel like they'll just be like, okay, why start in the middle of the freaking story?
It's the rules. Like Hans Gruber says, you don't alter the plan. The plan is 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7.
Rules are meant to be broken. Ask the government.
I showed her. Shelly had never seen them. I showed her 4 or 5. We're gonna watch Jedi, and then we'll go to 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Rogue One, Solo.
Or it could just be chaotic.
Solo.
We're not watching Solo.
Solo 2 is gonna happen. Solo deserves a sequel.
No, it doesn't.
Because Solo was better than everybody says it was.
I might just be chaotic and show everyone Rogue One first.
I'm all for giving a movie a second chance and watching it to see if it was just me, But I've done it to Episode 1 and I've done it to Solo, and they're just bad movies. They're just bad. I think, my opinion. You guys love whatever you want. I don't care how
I just don't
Solo. Like Solo.
I don't love Solo, I thought Solo was a lot better than people put it out there to be.
I was very disappointed in Solo because it sucked. It's not.
Do we want to talk about our timeline theories again?
It's not part of the canon. It's just somebody went out and made their own little story about Han Solo. Well, we think this is how it happened.
That is how it happened.
That's not how it happened.
Because it's canon.
It's not canon.
Yes, it is.
I would never include that. I would include Rogue One, obviously, because that movie's just freaking awesome. But I would never, and if we get to that, she'd be like, is there any Star Wars movies? I'm like, well, you can watch Solo if you want. I'm not going to watch it with you. You can watch it on your own, because it's shitty.
There is an animated movie, the Clone Wars movie.
I'd rather watch the holiday special with riff tracks than watch Solo again. Unless I watch Solo with riff tracks. I would watch Solo as long as it's riff tracked.
Don't even get going about the holiday special. Like, even the riff tracks version felt like I could never get that time back.
Speaking of those, did you see that there's a cartoon where Boba Fett helps Han Solo and Chewbacca but he's got a
Ulterior motive.
He's got an ulterior motive. But
is that the one that's in the holiday special?
No, it's not in the holiday special, but it's like the same animation.
Oh, okay.
It's the same.
And I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's kind of cool. It's in the Star Wars short sections in.
I saw they added a lot of old shorts. Stuff.
Yes, that's part of that. It's kind of neat.
The original animated show that was on Cartoon Network.
No, it's like the animation from the holiday special.
But they got the original Cartoon Network animated Star Wars show on there.
All I know is this is animated like the Boba Fett animation mini movie was during the holiday special.
Okay.
Same artist.
Okay.
It's kind of cool. But no, I would not show. I will not be showing her Solo as part of the canon.
You will let her watch Solo on her own.
I'll let her watch it on her own if she chooses to.
If Solo's not part of the canon, then what would it be? Like, is there a book or something?
It's just a standalone.
Well, I mean, how do you explain his origin then? You
I don't
just
need
not? You just
I
not
don't.
explain
Yeah, I don't
it?
need to know his origin.
Why not?
I really don't. I don't care. He's the pirate. He shows up, turns into a captain for the rebellion, and then
He's not a
spoiler,
pirate. He's a smuggler.
Oh, so you think it's just like a money grab?
It's just
a-
he's a money. Initially he was in for that. That's all he was about in the first Star Wars movie, Episode 4. Well, it was a money grab. All he cared about. I'm only in the, and he says it in the movie. I'm only in this for the money.
No,
He
I'm
says
saying,
that at the beginning of Empire.
I'm saying,
So-
do you think Solo was a money grab?
I do think
Movie.
Solo was a money grab.
It was.
I think because
It came out 3 months after Last Jedi.
because they had success with Rogue One, right? Didn't Rogue One come out first?
No. Force Awakens, Rogue One, Last Jedi, Solo.
Then Solo.
Okay.
Then it was because they had success with Rogue One
Yeah.
as a origin. How did the Death Star get built? They're like, it was a money grab. It's exact. I don't need to know where he comes from. No more than I need to know where Lando Calrissian comes from. I don't need to know this. Those aren't people. I mean, yeah, they're the main characters of the movie, but I don't need to know where Chewbacca comes from.
Well, you find out. Okay. Well, I guess you find out like where everyone else came from, about just in the fourth. Like, you find out where Leia comes from. You find out where Luke comes from.
Are we gonna have a Darth Maul origin? I mean,
I would love that. That would be awesome.
are we gonna have a?
Yeah,
are we
that
gonna
would be
have-
really
Are
awesome.
we gonna have an Emperor origin? What about the Viceroy? Do we get an origin?
Well,
from
we
them?
kind of got
What about
Emperors.
What about E.T.? I mean, he's in Episode 1. Why don't we just get an origin about him too?
Who's E.T.?
The E.T.
E.T. the extraterrestrial.
He's,
Yeah,
in,
yeah.
he's in Episode 1.
No,
in
he's
Episode
not.
1.
Yeah, he is.
He
No,
is.
no
Yeah.
way.
Yes.
Have you never seen that? In the Senate scene, if you look to the bottom, it's like far off in the
Yeah,
corner, they
the
have
big
ET
Senate scene
aliens.
with
Oh,
there.
geez.
He is in. They're in it.
I had no idea. That's
It's
cool.
because what's his face and Spielberg are really
Yeah.
good friends.
Yeah.
So
And that's why he recognized E.T. recognizes Yoda in the E.T. movie.
yeah,
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Right?
What an Easter egg.
Yes. Exactly.
Okay.
so E.T. is is a Star Wars movie, just
No.
like
No.
just like
No.
So E.T.'s like a Disney princess.
yes. And Indiana Jones
No,
is when Solo is in Carbonite. He's dreaming all the Indiana Jones movies
Yes. Then we'll tie that in too.
because the Crystal Skull is in one of the Clone Wars episodes.
Let's just tie.
Oh my god.
And that's how we got from stealing DVDs off of trucks into turning into the Millennium Falcon for the Fast series. The ultimate origin story
Yeah.
is the very first Fast and the Furious
They
movie.
they were Star Wars DVDs that were in the back.
I don't know. Some stories are just better left not told. Okay, and The Godfather. I'll use this as an example.
Better left not told at all.
Oh damn.
So we know. Okay, so Robert Duvall's character, they call him. That's his brother, Tom Hagen, right?
Yeah.
Well, Tom Hagen was just a homeless kid, an orphan. And Sonny became friends with him, and then they kind of adopted him into the family. We don't need a Tom Hagen origin story from The Godfather of how he came up and grew up poor and what happened to his parents. We don't give a shit about that. We just know that Tom Hagen was found by Sonny on the streets of New York, and The Godfather, Don Vito Corleone, adopted him as his own. Same thing with Han Solo. You don't need an origin story. We don't need to know. We just know that he was a smuggler. That's all I needed.
I wish they kind of learned that about like all the DC and Marvel movies. Like they put so many origin movies, origin like scenes.
I mean,
in,
why don't
like,
we get a
all
whole
the-
movie on J. Jonah Jameson? Why is he an a-hole? I mean, who does protect Spider-Man? By the way,
But I think
or
what I kind of drew on earlier was like J. Jonah Jameson. He's kind of like a tertiary character. I mean, you don't really need. But like I'm saying, Solo is like a primary character. I mean,
so's
why-
Tom Hagen in The Godfather. He is a primary character. He's the consigliere.
And you said they showed an origin of him.
No,
right?
they don't.
Oh.
No, they don't have to do an origin of him because we don't need to know the origin.
You don't need to know the origin of Legolas or Aragorn. Or
I don't need to know any of those people. They should have just left it as a book and left it at that.
the first three Lord of the Rings movies are really good. The Hobbit should have never happened.
or maybe just left it to cartoons.
Speaking of origins, have you guys ever saw the Gotham series?
Gotham?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
watched
Gotham.
like the first 2 seasons.
I saw the first few seasons.
Yeah.
I liked it, and the fact that that one kid that was in Shameless was the Joker. I know that much.
No, but they never really said he's Joker. They always like, oh, he might be the Joker, but no, not really, because the writers were like, we don't think he's the Joker, and like, but he basically is the Joker. Like everything he does just symbolizes Joker.
Right.
Okay. I just started watching. I'm on like episode 15 or something of the first season. I'm loving it.
I saw
so
the first
far.
few episodes. It's a really good show. Yeah.
Yeah. But that kind of goes in with your origin stuff. Like
Yeah.
some of those characters we don't really need an origin for. I don't really need to know the origin of Selena, the Catwoman. She's interesting, yeah, but I don't need to know her origin. Let's be honest, the only origins we care about are Joker, Batman, and I guess Commissioner Gordon because it's a really good origin story for him.
And Harvey Dent.
And Harvey Dent. Two-Face.
Yes.
I love Two-Face. And I guess Penguin because the show's like centered around Penguin right now.
So what you're saying is, once all the Fast movies are done, are we going to go do a Dominic origin story where he beats the shit out of the guy, race car driver, because he kills his dad? And are we doing a Dominic origin story?
Is that his origin?
Oh, you mean like as Dom Toretto?
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd watch that.
You'd see it. You'd watch.
I thought they were making something like that.
You'd watch a Dominic origin story.
Oh yeah.
I'll watch the Rock's character's origin story.
The show on Peacock.
The Hobbs versus Shaw again.
Oh, I thought you meant the Rock, the young Rock.
No, Young Rock. Thank you, Rock.
You guys ever seen Krypton? Because they did an origin story.
The dog.
Yeah.
No, that's Crypto.
Oh. He was born at a puppy farm.
But I watched like the first few episodes of that. And I didn't think anything of it. It lost me.
Yeah, it only lasted a season. It barely lasted that
Yeah.
season. It was the origin story of Superman's dad.
No, Superman's grandpa.
Superman's grandpa.
Oh, wait, from Krypton or
Yeah.
from Earth?
No, from
Krypton.
I know.
Are we gonna do a?
It's got
are
like
we gonna
time
do a-
travel in it. It's talking about Brainiac.
Are we gonna do an origin story of his parents from Earth? Are we gonna do their?
Yeah, that's next.
Great.
Because they've run out of ideas.
We have run out of ideas. We're just gonna start seeing origin stories of everything.
Origin stories of that one
I want
duck.
to see a Dorothy origin story from The Wizard of Oz. Why she ends up with her aunt and uncle, or Miss Gulch. Maybe we should get a Miss Gulch origin story.
Who's Miss Gulch?
Why is she such a bitch who wants to steal her dog?
Oh,
know?
because she's a Karen.
She is. She was one of the first Karens.
She's
wasn't she?
the first Karen.
She's got to be the first Karen, Miss Gulch. Do we get a Miss Gulch origin story? Why she got sand in her vagina? I mean, is it from the cyclones all over Kansas or whatever?
No, from the Dust Bowl.
Yeah, that's true too. Might have happened.
She's the bowl, and the dust got in there.
And who'd have thought she was the nice old lady in the coffee commercials? 40 years later.
Yep. See, that's what happens when you get the sand out of there.
That's right. An origin story. I want to see Miss Gulch origin story.
Did anybody watch anything else that we want to talk about?
We're recording this on Memorial Day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess my Memorial Day movie I watched was Act of Valor. I mean, it was
Which
nice.
one is it? Which one's Act of Valor? Because I don't think I've seen it.
I don't know. I'm not necessarily sure. Is it based on a true story? No.
No,
okay.
it's not.
It has real like military SEALs that
Uh-huh.
play the actors, and they go on a mission to recover a kidnapped CIA agent.
Did you write the review for our IMDb? Because you
No.
just said exactly what I said.
Well, I looked it up.
Dude, that opening
Yesterday.
scene when they drop in those two boats come and save the seals when they're running
Oh
away.
yeah.
Oh my
The river?
god. Yeah.
that was like it showed the aftermath of the car they shot, and it was just basically like Swiss cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was worse. There was like no cheese left if it was Swiss cheese. There
was-
so
it
many
was
holes
all
in
holes.
it. Yeah, it was nuts. But yeah, I thought it was. I think I've only seen it like once or twice. So I figured I'd watch it again.
Initially,
I thought it was the Mark Wahlberg one.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, what one's that one? That's Lone Survivor.
Yeah,
Lone
I was like, I got confused for a second. Then I was like, oh yeah, okay, this one's, it's not bad. I mean, you could definitely tell like these soldiers weren't actors. Like they were.
They
really,
intermixed actors with them.
Yeah. But I mean, it had good action. I mean, they did their job. I mean, it was compelling, and it was really. You can get the sense of what these soldiers go through when they go on their tours and the missions and stuff, and how dire some of these situations are, and kind of what they go through and what they sacrifice for all of us. So
I guess if I was suggesting Memorial Day movies, I would pick 1917 and
But that's not 1917 doesn't deal with Americans.
Saving Private Ryan. But that's the aspect of war. I'm not saying, not just because it's American, just because to show. I mean, America was in World War I, and it was a trench war, and that perfectly describes how that trench warring was. That was, I mean, that's why I would suggest 1917, because that shows how. And that's why I said Saving Private Ryan, because that really shows. Those two movies really show how those wars were fought.
I would say either Fury or the Duke's best movie, The Longest Day.
What's that about, Iwo Jima?
No, that's D-Day.
Oh.
It has what's?
Oh, that's right. That was the Sands of Iwo Jima.
Yeah,
that's a good one too.
And Letters of Iwo Jima is really good.
Flags of Our Fathers, that's a great movie.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, Letters from Iwo Jima is really good too.
Showing the Japanese
side of it. Yeah. Any of those movies.
Mm-hmm.
Even though that's the Japanese side. But I'd still watch it.
Pearl Harbor.
God.
That was a love story.
The original Midway.
Yes.
The new one's good, but I like the original because it intermingled like real life,
real videos
from the bottom. What did you say?
Armageddon.
Black Hawk Down's really good too. Black Hawk Down's low key one of my favorite movies.
13 Hours is really good too.
I got it right there. I can see it because of the flag side.
That's really good too.
But that I guess it deals with like CIA agents and stuff more than
yes.
Harry Stamper saved all of our lives. Thank you, Harry.
Thank you, Harry. Do we want to talk about the race?
We can talk about the race.
Well, Mister,
I see you're wearing your trough shirt.
I got my trough shirt. I was so excited about finding this shirt. I had to find it at a museum gift shop because it's the only place to have.
I saw it on the news.
Had the trough shirt.
Yeah.
Because so theory of the story of the trough shirt. So there's these metal troughs in the men's bathrooms, and they're like iconic. They've been there forever. First they were porcelain, and then they moved them to metal. And when Roger Penske bought the track last year, everybody was afraid that we're going to take out the troughs in the bathrooms. Of all the things fans worry about, they're worried about the troughs in the bathrooms. But because it's easy in and out. I mean, there's not urinals, You line up 5-6 guys depending on how bad you got to go to the bathroom and how close you want to be to somebody, but you don't care when you got to go. So the Speedway started producing these trough shirts. This just a picture of the urinals from the bathrooms at Speedway in the men's room. And they started selling like hotcakes. So they kept producing more and more and more. So I found one last week, Wednesday. I think I went to the track, to the gift shop, got my trough shirt for, I don't know why, but I was worried too. I'm like, God, I hope you don't replace the troughs with urinals because that's just gonna make the lines longer. So that's the basis of the trough shirt.
I gotta be honest, when places have troughs, it makes it so much easier. So you can fit so many more people in there.
That's exactly right.
I feel like it's cheaper too. To have a big old trough.
Yeah, and you run water in a little. Yeah.
Ones, yeah.
Mikey's experienced the troughs.
I have to.
You've experienced the troughs?
Yeah, I've gone to the raceway a few times.
Oh, really?
But I've gone for the 400.
Ugh, please.
NASCAR.
That's crap. Anyway, so to the Indy 500. So we go. So it's beautiful May morning. Actually, it's beautiful weather. It almost felt normal. They said they sold 135,000 tickets. I think they sold more than 135,000 tickets.
On the TV, watching the TV broadcast, it looked like the place was full.
I mean, I guess there was a lot less people over in the turn 3-4 area than there were in my area. I have seats in turn 2.
Mm-hmm.
And the seats, 2 seats next to us on both sides, we had 5 tickets. The 2 seats next to us on both sides were empty. So I guess that's how they kind of... But I don't know how you can eliminate 100,000 seats doing that.
Mm-hmm. By
just taking out 2 seats here, 2 seats there. But it was a very good race. Scott Dixon was the favorite going in. He sat on the pole for a 4th time. And there was an accident in the pits during the first round of pit stops.
I saw that.
And they closed the pits, which is the stupidest thing in the world to do, is to close the pits. If they would have let everybody come through at a slow pace, put a truck out there, he ended up running out of fuel. And actually so did Alexander Rossi, who was another contender who could have won the race. So they ran out of fuel, and they had to come in, and they loaded up their car with fuel, and their cars wouldn't restart. So put them each a lap down. So it just took them out of the race immediately. Which I was kind of glad. I mean, I don't hate Scott Dixon. Don't get me wrong. He's the greatest driver of our generation right now. He is the greatest IndyCar driver going on right now. But he wins a lot. And I'm tired of seeing him win. I'm tired of seeing him win championships.
It's like the Patriots.
Yeah. You just get sick of it after a while. I have nothing against him. He's a great guy. He's great with the fans. He's got a wife, 3 kids. He's got the whole shebang. And he's, But, so knocking him out of the race was great. In my opinion, I think it was good for the race that it happened. And by the time we got to the end, we had Elio Castroneves win his 4th Indy 500. There's only been 3 other drivers to win the race 4 times: Al Unser Sr., AJ Foyt, and Rick Mears. So Elio is among that group of legendary drivers. And I think him winning the race was perfect, coming back from not having any fans last year, because I mean, he probably ran a mile or more after the race because he climbed a fence, then he runs down the main straightaway waving at people all over the place, and he's got pit crewmen and other race car drivers coming out and congratulating him. We got a kiss on the head from Mario Andretti, which that's like the godfather of racing at this point.
That's like that's like the Dawn giving you.
Yeah, I mean it is. It was just everybody was so excited to hear him win, to see him win. I mean, the place went nuts when he won the race. So he was the perfect driver to win after not having a race last year. But you can't sleep on the fact that Noblesville, Indiana's own Connor Daly led the most laps of the race yesterday. Led 40 laps, and when he took the lead, that place erupted. Everybody loves Connor Daly. I have a driver I root for, I'm Ryan Hunter, Ray fan, but you got to root for Connor. And the place went nuts. Unfortunately, he hit a tire, which we're kind of lucky that thing didn't launch when he hit it. Mm-hmm. Kind of glanced off his car, but Graham Rahal came out of the pits. He didn't have a tire bolted on tight.
So that's what happened. It wasn't bolted on tight.
It wasn't on. His tires, his right rear tire was not.
Someone
bolted.
lost their job.
Well, I mean, it happens. It's human. It can happen. I don't know if the gun failed or what. I haven't reached that part of the race yet while watching it. But his tire came off in 2. He spun and hit the wall. Tire bounced off the fence. Came back down on the track, and Connor Daly ended up hitting it. But what an epic race. It was down to him and a second-year driver named Alex Palou, who drives for Chip Ganassi. So that's Scott Dixon's teammate. They swapped the leads, but I kind of, looking back, I think Elio was the guy to beat. I think he was toying with Palou, he let those guys run, mm-hmm. and he just sat back there and watched. And I heard an interview with him, and he said that he'd get a run on the leader to see if he could pass him on the straightaway before the start-finish line, if that's what it came down to. Mm-hmm. And he could.
So it was his experience versus their against the rookies.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you had him and Pato O'Ward, and then actually Simon Pagenaud was a guy to worry about because he was coming up fast. He ended up finishing 3rd. But like Paul Tracy said at the end of the race, these guys are out here playing checkers and Elio's playing chess. That's what it boils down to.
That's what it seemed like when I was watching it live on TV.
Yeah.
So it's like Elio was like in second for a few laps, and like okay, it's just a matter of time before he just makes his move. To
Yeah,
take the lead.
he was. That's a man among boys, is what it
Yeah.
was at that point. Yeah, he knew. He had finished second twice in the past, and probably the last 10 years he's finished second by a car length or less. And he was like, we ain't doing that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He was going to win. But man, car owner's name is Michael Shank. He came down. He used to race in the lower division of races. He's got one IRL, Old Indy Racing League, start to his name. And he went sports car racing. His race teams won the 24 Hours of Daytona. So he's got a very successful sports car team, and he started branching out into Indy cars. In fact, it's kind of a thumb in the nose to IndyCar and Roger Penske, because when the new chassis came out in 2012, Michael Shank bought an IndyCar chassis, but he couldn't get a motor. And he was a Honda. He races Honda motors in sports car, but Honda wouldn't give him a motor. And then, of course, Elio, being in his 40s, he kind of got... Penske's like, well, we're going to bring in somebody younger, and we're going to put you in the sports car division. Well, they threw away... They got rid of the sports car division, so Elio was rideless. So Michael Shank plucked him up, put him in a sports car, and then put him in the Indy 500, and look what happens.
Is this their first Indy 500 win as a team?
Yes, it's first IndyCar win as a team.
Okay.
They have never won an IndyCar race before.
First IndyCar race is the big one.
Sucks to be Penske. God damn it.
It is a big F you to Roger Penske, essentially, because he goes to this team. You know, it's a one-off situation. He's not supposed to race in any other races this year.
Yeah.
He was
like
just
how Connor Daly has been. He's always
for a while, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it epic. You know, not only you see a 4-time winner, but the way it happened. You know, getting kind of kicked away from the, you're not good enough for us anymore. You're an old guy. You know, he's 46 years old. That's old for a race car driver.
And the TV announcers were talking like they think he can go into his 50s if he wants to.
He could be like Mario. Mario won. He was 52 when he won his last IndyCar race, and he raced into his 50s. I think he was 54 when he was 54 when he retired. So, yeah, and all that excitement that you see on TV, and that is as real as it gets.
Mm-hmm.
I'll post some pictures. I got pictures of him in the Victory Lap. I'll post on the Twitter page and the Facebook page of his. I mean, you can just see how excited they are.
He was so excited. He could barely get out of his car. He could barely get his helmet and gloves off.
Yeah.
He was struggling.
I'll post those pictures of the owner, Michael Shanks. So they're in the pace car. They ride in the pace car after the race.
What was the pace car this year? 2021 Corvette?
It was the Corvette, and they rode around because it's convertible. They rode around in a Camaro convertible.
Yeah.
But I'll post pictures on the Facebook page and the Twitter page to show how excited they are. I mean, that place was full of fans even after the race was over, waiting for him to do the pace car ride.
How was the fan? I remember. I think you said that when you went to the last week, you were talking about how a lot of the drivers weren't really talking to fans in the pits row.
Well, it's not that they weren't talking. I think the most interactive. I gauged some guys just can't do it, you know, for one reason or other. They won't, and then you get others that will just stand out there for hours and sign and sign and sign.
How was it yesterday?
I don't know. I wasn't in the garage area, so
okay.
I try not to bother drivers on. I mean, that's the biggest race in the world. So I did see a video of Ryan Hunter-Reay signing autographs for somebody in the garage area after an interview. So they will do it. Mm-hmm. But I was never a fan of doing that on race morning because it's.
They have so much on their mind.
Yes, exactly.
Like,
that's what qualifying and practice is for, in my opinion. Actually, it's what practice is for. But Elio is very fan engaging. I caught him. I got his signature on a picture of mine this year, and he didn't turn anybody away. Let's put it that way. So he's the guy. He's the guy. Wonderful. I've never been an Elio Castro Nevers fan. Never had anything against him, you know. But what a race! Great race, great finish. Congrats to Elio and Michael Shank.
What's the most races won 4?
At Indy?
Yeah.
4.
4, okay. Do you think he could get number 5?
Yeah, he could. But we all thought Rick Mears was the first to 5.
Mm-hmm.
He won his 4th. At 40, how old was he? He was in his early 40s, 41. In 1991, he won his 4th 500, I think. Well, no, I know, but I just don't remember how. He was in his early 40s, and then he raced in 92 and had a wrist accident, and he sat out some races. And he retired that December of 92. So you can never say. I mean, it's been 12 years since win 3 and win 4.
Yeah.
Normally, it's not that long. When AJ won his 4, we'll do the list of 4-time winners here. It was 10 years from 67 to 77 between his 3rd and 4th wins. With Al Unser, it was 9 years with 78 and 87 between 3 and 4. Mears was the shortest. He went from 88 to 91 between his 3rd and 4th win. He went from 79 to 91. He won 4 Indy 500s. It was 79, 84, 88, 91. Then Elio, it was 01, 02, 09, and 21. So, but I mean, you never say never.
Yeah.
Obviously, he could win again next year. I mean,
he's
no doubt
got the
about
experience and the brains. And
he can. I mean, he finished first, and third. No, first, and second in his first 3 Indy 500s.
Jeez.
Yeah, he's got 3 second place finishes.
He's from Brazil.
Yes.
Okay.
He's got three second place finishes. So he knows how to race. He knows his way around that racetrack.
I got one issue with the 500. Maybe you can answer this. I know it's tradition. You probably know where I'm going. The milk. Why the heck would you drink? I know they don't. I don't know they don't drink a lot of it, but that's the last thing I want after sitting in a hot car and driving for 2-3 hours.
So in 1930, it was promotional. Yeah. That's how it started. In 1937, Wilbur Shaw wins the Indy 500. Before the race started, he said, and it was actually buttermilk. He said, actually, I know, right? Before the race started, he's like, when the race is over, can you get me some buttermilk? It helps me quench my thirst after the race. So he requested a bottle of buttermilk. Well, he ends up winning the 500. They gave him the buttermilk because that's what he requested, and there's a picture of him drinking the buttermilk. So the Dairy Association saw that and said, hey, so that's where the tradition started of drinking the milk in Victory Lane. Which I found it funny yesterday. The bottle went away and it came back and it was pink because they had put some strawberry in it, like a strawberry. But their cars are pink, so that made sense. I think that was the thing. So that was pretty awesome.
I know on the news they're talking about, they're asking, a lot of the drivers requested whole milk and 2%.
Right.
And they only offer whole 2% or skim, and there was one driver that I think wanted chocolate.
Yeah, Juan Montoya wanted chocolate milk, and then Ed Carpenter wanted buttermilk, but that wasn't an option because that's the real milk that you drink. Yeah, you can't get chocolate milk for some reason. I'd be a little disappointed in that if I'd have won.
Yeah, I would want chocolate milk.
Juan Montoya wanted chocolate milk. I think that's funny.
Because chalky milk solves all problems.
I heard one of the drivers, his name Dalton Kellett, he was on the radio the other day, and they're asking him what he wanted. As far as milk, because you have to make your choice of what milk you want. Yeah. And he said, well, I'm not much of a milk drinker. He says, but I chose whole milk because I figured that was the milkiest milk you could get. Yeah. Which that makes sense. It's whole milk instead of 2% or skim milk. I'd probably take 2% myself. But
I drink 2%. So.
But that's where the milk tradition started. Was just the guy wanted some milk, buttermilk after the race, and he just happened to win the race, and it just became a promotional issue. Now in 1993, here, check this out. So Emerson Fittipaldi, right? He's already won the Indy 500 once, so he wins it a second time, and they give him the bottle of milk, and he goes, "No, I want orange juice," because he owned these orange groves in Brazil because he's Brazilian, right? And it pissed people off till no end. And I was one of them. Like, you can't do that. Drink your orange juice, but don't. Like, he pushed away the bottle of milk. You can't be pushing away the bottle of milk. They ended up making him drink the milk and for promotional purposes. Yeah. But he didn't win the prize money from the American Dairy Association that year because he refused the milk. And it just pissed off the fans to no end.
That's
It's
one way
tradition.
not get invited back. But hey, you're not gonna race.
And he drove for Penske, which made it worse.
It's tradition. It's like not kissing the bricks before the race.
Or not saying I'm going to Disney World after Disney. Yeah,
That's
I'm going
right.
to Disney World after Super
But
Bowl.
I thought it was kind of cool that they did. I saw, I don't know who, maybe it was ESPN, but Tom Brady won the Super Bowl, and then you had what's his name winning the golf tournament.
Phil.
Phil Mickelson. So it's kind of like the old guys are winning, and that's kind of the theme this year. And Elio at 46.
I mean, you
he's
can
not
argue
old, but
LeBron.
no,
He won the NBA championship last year.
I don't care. That was last year. We're talking this year.
He might win it.
He might win it this year.
Yeah, we'll
He'll
see.
win Best Acting Award too for all that crap he's been throwing lately. What a piece of shit! I can't stand him.
We can wait.
God,
Let's hold our NBA talk for later.
I don't even watch the NBA. All
I
I know
know.
is their fans are horrible. Somebody threw a water bottle at somebody.
Yeah,
Dump
I've
popcorn
seen
at
it,
somebody.
No, somebody threw a water bottle at Kevin Durant.
Yesterday.
Was it
Really?
It was Kyrie.
Kyrie Irving?
Kyrie. They
Yeah, somebody threw a water bottle at him. Somebody threw popcorn at
when they-
Kevin
when they were
Durant.
going back to the locker room.
No, Russell Wilson.
Is it Russell? Yeah, somebody threw popcorn
yeah.
on Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
What is wrong with people?
Yeah, it's when they're going through the tunnel. Yeah, it's just like that's just.
I mean,
Yeah,
like I
you
said,
can fucking curse at them all you want, but don't throw shit.
I am
Yeah.
I am no fan, obviously, of LeBron James, but never would I call him. I'm okay. I just called him, but I'm on a podcast and he's not listening to me. But would I do it to his face? No, because you have to have respect for other people in person. I can hide behind this microphone all I want, but I would never do that to anybody.
Yeah,
I mean,
He's
you
a
still gotta have
human being.
respect. He's a human being, exactly.
Yeah.
You don't throw something at somebody, especially somebody you don't know. What did they do? Because they beat your team? Wham, wham, wham.
your team sucks.
That's right. We're Pacer fans. We all know all about it, but I ain't gonna be throwing popcorn,
No.
water bottles, beer. I'm not gonna be throwing anything at anybody.
I'll talk crap all I want, but then as soon as I meet him in real life, I'd love to shake hands with LeBron and meet him in real life.
Oh, I would too. I mean, there's no doubt he's one of the greatest to ever play the game.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jordan's the greatest, but
Disclaimer.
disclaimer. But I respect his talent
Yeah.
as a basketball player. I don't like the flopping, but there's no doubt that he's one of the most,
He would still be one of the best players without all flopping.
Exactly. He doesn't need to do that, in my opinion. So I would never throw popcorn. I would never throw water. People, be better.
There's certain words I would never use. That I'm guessing. I know he probably gets called that. The stadium.
Goat? Yeah, I wouldn't call him that either.
Yeah, neither would
Oh.
I.
Pass. You don't have the end pass. You don't have the end pass.
Yeah, you don't have to pass.
Anyone have any other news? Anything else they want to talk about? Or
Oh, and if people about the Indy 500, I've been seeing a lot of people complain about commercials. A lot of commercials.
Yeah.
You know how you avoid that?
go.
Buy a ticket and go to the race yourself.
You know what? A lot of the commercials they have like the
side by side?
race still going.
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It doesn't bother me.
It was really nice to be able to watch it on TV, being in Indiana again. Like I've never seen it on TV,
Same.
but
They show it and in fact, NBCSN showed it at 9:30 last night.
I don't
Showed a
care
replay.
about watching it the next day or.
Really? You
later
come over.
tonight.
I've got it on my DVR. We can watch it every day if you want.
Guys, if I ever disappear, I'm over at Chris's apartment, tied down, watching.
Now watch this pass. Watch this pass.
oh yeah,
Yeah, did you see that? Let's rewind.
The 1953 race. Let's watch that now.
Oh, speaking of 1953, I'll throw this out to you. So they play. 1070 was playing old radio broadcasts all weekend long, right? It's called 560. They're 60-minute broadcasts of the
Yeah.
500. So they're playing the 53 race, and I'm coming back from Indianapolis, and my oldest brother was with me, and I said, I think this was the hottest 500, and some guy dies of heat
What?
exhaustion. A race car driver did.
Oh, crap.
And then sure enough, they're like, as we're listening to the race, because it was the 53 race, they're like, yeah, they need an ambulance for Carl Scarborough. He needs an ambulance. And Carl Scarborough was the guy that took him to the track hospital, and he died at the hospital from heat exhaustion.
Jeez.
But he came in, and there was they said it was a little bit of a fire, and they put some CO2 on the car, so they think he inhaled that. But when he got out of his car from the heat exhaustion, they never took his helmet off. So his head's just frying
Bacon.
under
Yeah.
under his helmet. So there's the bit of history of the 1953 Indy 500, won by Bill
A
Vukovich.
random number I picked, and
Carl Scarborough dies of heat exhaustion. It was like 94 degrees that day.
jeez, what was the temperature yesterday? Like 60 something.
It was in the 60s. I got warm. I was probably close to 70.
but there was a nice breeze yesterday too.
But yeah, it was a little breezy. It was nice out. So there's your Indy 500 history. Bill Vukovich did not take a driver, like somebody come in and relieve him. He drove all 500 miles. There's a picture of him in the museum after the race, up on the in the garage after the race, and he's just exhausted because he drove 500 miles in 94 degree heat. You know, the engine's in front of you, the transmission's right there. Like you can see the transmission in the cockpit of the car, it's right next to your legs. Back then, because this is 53, so I can't imagine those guys were. These guys are nothing compared to what those guys were like back then.
Better drivers though today, I bet.
I don't know. I can't imagine. You see them old cars in the museum, you wonder how. I mean, Vukovich was winning at 135 mile an hour average. So he's probably doing 140.
When
in
did
the
they
race.
stop having two drivers or two people?
Back in the 20s.
What was the second person for? Like a mechanic or something?
Yeah, he was the riding mechanic. If any kind of an issue on the track, the riding mechanic could get out and fix a tire, or maybe plug wire falls off. I don't know, and they put a plug back in. You know, put it back in.
Oh,
And they could also see the other drivers behind you because they didn't have mirrors.
I want to bring up some history for the 500. I don't know if a lot of people know this. I know you know this. I'm pretty sure you probably know this. But the first race at the Indianapolis 500 track was a balloon race,
Yes.
and that's why they released the balloons before on was that Carb Day? They released the balloons.
No, but before the 500, except they didn't do it yesterday.
They didn't do the balloons.
No, they didn't do it. They did do flyovers, probably because of the whole COVID thing. They
Oh.
didn't do balloons.
What flew over?
F-16s.
Ooh.
It was pretty awesome.
All right.
So there you go. There's the wrap up of the Indianapolis 500. We've got another year to go, and we get more.
Sweet. You got any shower thoughts for us, Mikey?
I do, and I thought of this one myself.
Original.
Oh yeah, it's probably been said before, but it's kind of stupid. But I was thinking about Wi-Fi. Like I think we've had it for so long. I don't remember when it became available, and it's like I feel like it just suddenly became part of our lives. Like, where did it come from? I just don't remember like when we first started using it. Like I feel like it just like
It
when we
just
got
appeared
phones.
one
Yeah,
day?
it just
One day.
yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
Darn, I missed the dial-up though.
Who's on the internet? Who's on the
Yeah.
internet? I need to make a phone call.
I remember
Yeah.
getting a separate phone line for my internet,
Yeah.
so I would not get interrupted.
That's what my parents did.
It's annoying.
I remember we had two phone numbers, and I still know both of them.
Because you could like,
I almost said one out loud.
Because you could be like talking to somebody and then you're like, oh no, oh somebody's gonna call, and then like it kicks you off and then your phone rings.
Yeah.
Oh, I hated that.
I remember I was playing Call of Duty 2 when we were on the first. We just got our high speed internet, and I was playing Call of Duty 2 online. That was so much
Were
fun.
the characters squared like
No,
they were squared?
no, this wasn't a Tomb Raider with square or triangle boobies.
She was hot. I had the hots for Laura Croft back then.
Like I don't know if it's just my memory, but like I remember not having Wi-Fi and then like not dealing with phones or stuff. But I don't remember like the middle part. Like I remember not having Wi-Fi, and I do remember having Wi-Fi. Like I don't know if that makes sense.
You
but
just don't
it's like-
remember installing
Yeah, I guess.
or like getting used to getting it.
Yeah, I don't
remember
know.
like going to places and be like, hey, do you have Wi-Fi here?
Yeah.
And you go like McDonald's or you go to like Applebee's, like, hey, do you have Wi-Fi here?
Yeah.
Hell, they all do.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Meijer has it. Walmart has
Yeah,
it.
who doesn't have
The
Wi-Fi?
Speedway has Wi-Fi, but there's a billion people there, so
Well,
you always get kicked off. your
I like
Wi-Fi.
having. I really like Xfinity's cell phone service because if you have an Xfinity router, it's a hotspot for us.
Is it really?
Yeah. So if I go somewhere that has Xfinity Business and they have a Wi-Fi, I can connect. It's not that good, but it's a hotspot.
Really?
Mhm.
I don't know. something over too? Are you going to take us out, please, again, Chris?
Yes.
You did last week?
Yes, I don't remember how I did it last week, but remember, watch us on some YouTube, listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, TuneIn Radio. Don't forget to comment, because, we do respond to it. If you're famous, somewhat famous, in movies, not in movies. Haters, lovers, talk to us. That came out weird, but whatever. Let's keep going. If you don't know who your nerds are, that's us. So yeah, you'll never wonder who your nerds are.